Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's Mystic Minute is excess baggage. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and when I'm reading, I might encounter something that is out of date, so I will stop and give you the most recent information. At the end, I will summarize the topic based on what's going on in the world today. Also, I have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. Excess baggage. On Wednesday, I went to the airport and got in line to check luggage. I usually only take carry-on, but because this trip is for an indefinite length of time, I packed everything I need between now and November. There was curbside check-in, but I thought the line was too long. When I got inside, the line was even longer, but I thought I needed a boarding pass. I stayed in the inside line, which took forever. Early on, I thought, why not bop over to the kiosk, grab a boarding pass, and haul my luggage to the curb? But I didn't do it. Instead, I joined the mass of humanity and waited my turn. This is totally unlike me. I'm a swift and savvy traveler, and not one to stay in the crowd. I can ascertain what are rules and what are suggested guidelines, and usually operate on the periphery. When I got on the plane, they announced that it would be delayed to high winds in Denver, and an option was given to disembark and rebook for the next day. But they wouldn't unload the checked-in luggage. I was uncomfortable imagining my luggage going on without me, and I figured that my connection would also be delayed, so I stayed on the plane. My flight landed 90 minutes late, and I missed my connection by seconds. I had to spend the night at the airport. The next morning, I could have tried standing by for a direct flight, but thought my luggage would be on the plane where I had my confirmed ticket. It turned out my bags arrived several hours before I did. My lesson? Excess baggage slows you down. When I was standing in line to check my bags, I found an analogy for caretaking for Alzheimer's. Most of the caretakers at the support groups I'd been to have been caring for their loved ones for a long time. They settled into the decline for the long term. I'm not there yet with my mother. And I'm not here to help her decline. I'm here to initiate change. I'm here to improve her quality of life, get her a social stimulation and physical exercise. I will dance with where she is in the moment because Alzheimer's people can shift in capability from day to day. And if I can stem or reverse its progress, I will. Besides diet and nutrition, we're looking at a clinical trial of a drug that does just that. The energy I felt when standing in line at the airport was heavy, like swimming in molasses. The morphic field of Alzheimer's feels the same way. However, just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean you have to play out the entire pattern of the disease. People have received diagnosis of HIV or cancer or other life-threatening illnesses and defied the odds. And the first step in doing this is to not match the collective energy so that you can have a different experience. What holds you to the group experience is your excess baggage or your matching pictures, your perceptions and energy. In letting them go, you can shift to a different reality. In your life, notice where you are standing in line with the rest of the crowd. Notice what holds you there. Fear of being left behind? Fear of being punished? You can remain connected with others without sharing their viewpoints or their maladies. Let yourself step out of line once in a while and have a completely different journey. Try this for a week and see what happens. Well, oh my goodness. I thought I was just going there and I'd only packed to November. I'd been there a month and my mother fell and fractured her pelvis and ended up going in the hospital for 18 days. There'll be blogs talking about this coming up. And I went into the hospital with her because she had Alzheimer's. So I was beside her sleeping in a chair for 18 days. There was an earthquake at that time as well. Very strange. And in the hospital, they discovered she had lung cancer. So when she came out, she did radiation therapy, which didn't work because she wouldn't lay still when it was happening. I ended up camping out in her guest room on 2 suitcases for the next almost 2 years until she passed away. And the thing I remember from that time is having this feeling of wanting to like stop the Alzheimer's. And it was like trying to stop not just the Alzheimer's, but also then the cancer. And it was like trying to stop this flow, this river flowing at you with your hands like this. Wasn't going to happen. And I can look back at it now, and it was all part of my mother's journey, birthing back to spirit. It would have happened a lot faster if she'd been in a facility, people caring for her that didn't know her, people not treating her as spirit, but treating her as her disease. She went on hospice in January of that year. So I wrote this in June of the previous year. And because she didn't know she was dying, because she didn't know she had cancer, she didn't know she had Alzheimer's. She was in a really good mood for the next year and a half. So that was a year. She died in January of 2013. So it was just an amazing experience, and it was just kind of moving to see the mindset I was in at the time. And here's the other thing is I felt like I had to spend the night at the airport, which was a really horrible experience. It's like the airports don't have seats that you can sleep in. They were like these bench seats with armrests. And so I ended up like a lot of other people there sleeping on the ground, with my backpack as a pillow. I probably had flight insurance at the time, and that would have paid for a hotel. It really was a precursor to what the next couple of years were going to be like. So what I can say is how this relates to all the changes going on in the world today is that we don't know what's coming up. And if we are trying to change the timeline or change the flow, it's not going to work when we're doing it this way. When you can operate as consciousness and make choices and actions as consciousness, then you can be a lot more fluid and flexible because we're required to change on a dime. If you just look at just a few weeks ago, we all changed on a dime, and it has been an amazing transformation for those of us in the United States. Who knows what we're navigating coming up? Astrology can give us a prediction of the astrological weather, but how each of us navigate through it and how things individually impact us, we can know as greater consciousness, but we're not letting that information all into form. We're still driving this car through density and effort. And I find that when I can operate as consciousness and steer my life as consciousness, then it's a much more enjoyable experience. I don't take things as seriously. My body takes it seriously because it's not going to make it out of this lifetime alive. But as consciousness, I'm eternal. I'm experiencing a multitude of lifetimes all at once. It can be an enjoyable experience when you have the bigger picture of what the entire road trip is going to be like. If you like these videos, please click the like button and also subscribe. And that way it influences the YouTube algorithm to share this with more people, and it gets it out to someone who really needs to see this information. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the Skybox technique, and it'll give you an expanded viewpoint of your life, and you can even see what's coming up for you. And if you want some energy techniques for manifestation, I have a self-study course called Manifesting Money and Miracles, where you can learn to embody frequencies that can completely transform your life. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. There you can learn about my individual sessions where I take a look at you as consciousness and what's going on in your life today, and I can answer any questions that you might have. And it's all recorded just for you. And if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, Manifesting Money and Miracles is a great preparation for my coaching special where I work with you one-on-one and give you specifically chosen consciousness techniques for you to transform your life. So go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.